yeah, while we're waiting for more attendees to join, just a quick intro about myself. My name is Sarah Borgila. I'm a board of advisory at the Block Ecosystem Hub. I'm also a partner at the VC Ceras Ventures, and this is our second Block investor webinar session, and with the scope of from protocols to agents, backing the builders of Web3 and AI. And yeah, I'm very excited about the session. We had the first edition last week, and we did also a voting with the attendees back then. What will be the most interesting topics when it comes to industry insights? And besides RWA, AI was also a very demanded topic. So that will be the main scope of today. We kick it off also with a mission of the webinar to bring you closer also to the block. So we're going to kick off just with a brief what we are doing at the block, what is the mission, what is exactly also the investor circle, and then we are heading more into the insights of why Web3 and AI matters now, and closing it off with a fireside chat with our special guest this time, which is Roman Jema, who's founder and managing partner at Ceras Ventures. If it comes to Q&As, please use on the right-hand side the chat field. So there you're able to post any questions. So at the end of our session, we will go through them and engage with you then at the end of the session. So yeah, to kick off, to give you a brief, what is actually the block? The block, you can understand it as the chamber of virtual asset and a one-stop shop when it comes to all things virtual assets, where we support our members through the full project cycle. It doesn't matter if it's corporates, if it's institutions, if it's startups, or also investors who either want to tap into virtual assets, into the Middle East. We're really there hands-on to support. So really from inception to licensing to activities and stronger visibility, we are very there to support. And it's also our mandate to support you when it comes, for instance, also with Vara, since our headquarter is also here in Dubai. So some of you, I believe, are from the Middle East. Some of you are outside of the Middle East and want to learn more. So we really have different programs for different stakeholders. What I would like to mention, if it comes to the Investor Circle, that's an exclusive and also application-only circle. So for the investors, also other startups, we do always a due diligence and review to really keep a selective circle. And something which is very exciting, what we are planning now in Q3 is opening also physical spaces in Dubai. So we are located in W World Trade Center. Some of you who are familiar with the UAE and Dubai, the Experience Center is planning to be opened in One Central, which is a very strategic location, also with other players in the Web3 industry. So we're quite excited about that. And also the Block Tower, which will be also located in DWTC. So there you will find also a co-working space, meeting rooms, podcast facilities. So different facilities where our members can collaborate and come together. For the investor circle, I want to highlight what is really the key is to have really closed door initiatives. So the webinar is a first kickoff, because with the webinars is a scope to get really in a dialogue with all investors. It doesn't matter if you're familiar with Web3, with blockchain or not. It's really to have an open dialogue. And also in the future, we're planning to have a much stronger collaboration, for instance, with roundtables, with workshops, especially with our close partners at the block, because we recently already finalized partnership with different blockchains, for instance, with Avalanche, Polymesh. We also just announced the partnership with Solana. So we were closely collaborating also with Solana Super Team. So there are a lot of exciting things in the pipeline. Also, besides that, we also holding a created deal flow. So we're selecting very high quality startups and deals that are accepted through the blog as well. And it really, it's a really wide options that we have, really, from RWAs to different use cases within virtual assets. So that's something you can also be excited about. And coming now closer to our today's topic, why actually Web3 and AI, that intersection is so relevant. As you all know, AI is booming. It's very booming. It started with generative AI coming on stage. And one thing that we all know, big companies like OpenAI, Meta, they are rapidly growing with their AI tools, which is used by millions. But right now, they're still controlling the systems, the data. It's all in their hands. So that's something where Web3 and blockchain can really offer a more open model. So really based on decentralization, it means also that control can be shared. So having really tools like a shared infrastructure, user-controlled identity, um, this is still missing in today's AI world. And also, all of us, we want to have control of our own data. So more users and governments are demanding more privacy and more transparency and ownership of our personal data. And this is something where also Web3 and blockchain can bring solutions on. One thing that you all know, not only traditional AI, but also the intersection of Web3 and AI is really in the hype since over a year. So especially we already see projects like Ocean Protocol that offer, for example, tokenized models for buying and selling AI data. Also, AI agent is a very big topic where we tap in a bit more later on when it comes to using AI agent for different sectors. And also, there's a rising interest from institutions, from investors. And some of you maybe heard, especially here in the UAE, recently Stargate project was announced, which is backed by OpenAI, Oracle. So this is also focusing on building up more AI infrastructure and data centers. So not only in the Middle East, but globally, institutions and investors are getting ready for this next wave. And also the statistics are telling already what's happening. As I mentioned, especially in the Web3 industry, based on the latest report from Outlier Ventures, 260% in growth has been stated for projects that are focusing on AI and Web3 solutions. So we already see a lot of is happening there. Also, we know NVIDIA is one of the biggest players, still keep growing. And also, if it comes to dedicated AI and Web3 projects and accelerator tracks, a lot of players like A16Z, also VCs like Ceras Ventures, Outlier Ventures, and traditional funds are tapping more into Web3 and AI solutions. If we look more about use cases, there are multiple use cases. I just tapped earlier on a few. For instance, when we get back to a matter of data control, right? A big topic is decentralized AI governance. So instead of a few big companies deciding how AI should work, if we have decentralized governments, it's really a community where decisions are being made together. So we have an example, for example, a group of developers can vote on how a language model should be updated rather than it's controlled just by one entity. The same is also for tokenized compute economies. So that means that AI training needs so much computing power. So that there are Web3 projects, they're really tapping into how this computing power and those efforts can get paid by tokens. So incentivizing that process of generating high computing power. Another thing which is very, very popular right now as well as on-chain AI agents. So as we know, AI assistants can work very smartly for us. And if they run on blockchain, they can automate even more effectively. They can also operate and make decisions in a more secured and private way. So that's something which is also a very, very popular sector at this moment. Yeah, another parts of interest, also verifiable compute. This is, for instance, to ensure that AI can make a decision correctly without exposing sensitive info. And this is very, very highly relevant. Let's say if we think about the healthcare sector or also in the banking sector when it's about using AI there. But also data marketplaces is a very important tool. For instance, let's say a data marketplace, if we think about healthcare again, right? Let's say a patient can contribute that their health data can be anonymously used to train an AI, and they can get incentivized for it without giving up on privacy. Especially in healthcare, sharing data is very sensitive, and if it's possible to make it more secure, more private, that's something where a lot of projects are also still working on. And also another part, if we come to the creator economy, is also having, for instance, agent-powered NFTs. So if artists, musicians, and creators can use AI to generate work and can sell and license it also with smart contract to make it more secured. So these are like some of the sectors which are quite in the talks right now, also within Web3 and AI, and multiple projects are heavily building on that. And I just want to tap more into AI agents, because there are so many talks about AI agents, and what is really the difference if we think about traditional AI and Web3 AI. And one very, very clear and important difference is traditional AI is based on centralized data. So think of it of you have your data inputs, and it's right now, if it's centralized, it's still in a kind of silo setup. So if it's on chain, if it's decentralized, you have really access to multiple data sets. So having it on chain and more composable is a key difference. Also in terms of static predictions versus autonomous execution. For instance, if you use AI agents for trading or portfolio management, just imagine you have different products like ETF, direct investments, and you have an AI agent who can really analyze and also execute in real time and doing trades on your behalf. There's also a lot of use cases, also active cases on that, which is also a very key difference if we compare it with traditional AI solutions. Also, another key thing that I mentioned earlier, if it comes to the data sources and input, I mean, we all know whatever is the data input and the quality determines the data output. So using, instead of single data sources, multiple sources, real-time sources is also something that can really empower solutions that use AI agents with Web3 elements. And right now in traditional AI, there's no incentives made for users for sharing their own data, for enabling computing power for certain solutions. So with Web3, also with digital assets, it's possible to have really crypto native incentives also made. So think of it of being really being more autonomous, a more logical setup by using Web3. So this is really the core difference if it comes to AI agents in Web3 versus traditional AI. So that's like really the key inputs when it comes to AI and Web3. But I think which is now super, super interesting is to learn hands-on how is the current investment landscape from a VC perspective, and where we have to pay attention on as well. And I'm excited to welcome also today our Roman, who founded and managed also Ceras Ventures, which is a early stage VC fund, which invested already in over 70 companies worldwide, sector agnostic, global mandate. And I'm very excited to welcome you, Roman. Let's see, Roman, you're in.
Hey,
You can hear
sorry, can you
us?
hear me?
Perfect. We can hear you clearly. Yeah?
Awesome. Yeah, thanks
Super,
for having me
Roman.
here.
Yeah, Roman, maybe before we start, maybe would you like to give also like a brief introduction about yourself and also about Ceras and yeah.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm a Roman, general partner at Ceras Ventures. We've been investing in Web3 since 2017, and especially over the past years, we've become increasingly, focused on, really powerful narratives, which is AI and plus Web3. For past 5 years, we actually invest in especially crypto and blockchain space, including layer one, layer zero, up to consumer application and all tons of different narratives. Um, so now in this cycle, like our main focus is in AI and Web3 sector.
No, super good. And where do you see now, since we tapped into different sectors also between AI and Web3, like what draw your initial attention to look deeper into Web3 and AI solutions?
Um, like I would say AI is great at thinking, right? Because of the tons of data fed it to, the AI. And Web3 is more fundamental layer, is more great, at trusting. So but to really scale both, I think we need a foundation where smart agents can act and interact and earn trust on their own. So that's why we believe the real convergence happens in at the agent's native layer. So we're moving toward where AI agents on this tool, right? So they're autonomous actors on chain, and to support that, we need a new layer of Web3 native infrastructure to solve the problem of especially agent identity and also agent layer asset ownership. So that's quite important. And as well as improve the user experience of agent to agents and also agent to human interactions. Just like Web one, right? Web one we had actually HTTP and the DNS. So Web three has wallets and smart contracts. So the agent needs web needs a trust and also identity. So collaboration layer for intelligence agents. So that's why I would say the AI plus Web3 is going to be perfect combo because especially in Web3 space is a space where it has open and open, transparent, also permissionless data playgrounds. So that's a perfect combo.
No, super good. Even I can hear already from like different market trends and business models, you're also super bullish on AI agents specifically, right?
Yeah, I would say we're quite in the early stage, but we already see early traction in like few sectors. For example, the firstly in decentralized computing networks, right? So there's a few actually study case in the markets like the Tong, right? The TOW and RO.net. So they're trying to solve the access and also incentivize for distributed AI network and workloads, and also like try to come up with a decentralized machine learning network where like AI models contribute and also compete and also earn rewards through their token. So a lot of protocols they are trying to turn AI models into minor permissionless machine learning economy, and that's kind of like a very interesting use case. And also we're seeing also like a lot of on-chain AI agents like from autonomous DeFi strategies to governance copilot agents. So these agents they're not only just execute, right? So they adapt. For example, they can help you to manage your actually like data and ownership and also so when it comes to data and also in the market right now, especially a lot of the protocol they're trying to come up with uh, the network where the long tails of user kind of like become co-owner of the intelligence they train, and also there are a few study cases in the market as well, like Fetch AI, like AI 16Z, and also what they're doing is trying to come up with an very experiment a very experimental governance and where like AI models can vote and compete and contribute to collective intelligence to bridge, especially Web2 users, like IoT and the logistics and also smart city into Web3 through economic agents frameworks and also SDKs. Uh, but the common bottleneck right now in the market is that there is no proper structure, right? So without those proper and persistent agents identity and also composability and trust guarantees, so these systems are kind of like remain fragmented. So that's why we need actually strong agents infrastructure in the market right now, and this is something that we're really bullish on it. Yeah.
No, super interesting. It's also true, I think, in terms of regulation and making also the data quality and inputs really auditable. I think these are still, like as you said, like hurdles that we're facing right now, right? Depending on different ecosystems. And it's super interesting. You mentioned already past projects like Fetch AI, also Protocol. We saw they were like the early movers in the industry. Now, from a VC perspective, if you look at projects, right, and to evaluate them, often what is mentioned for a lot of projects that, okay, they're either, for example, a SaaS solution or they're just Web3 and they just add AI as a feature. But how do you evaluate like whether a project really needs blockchain and AI? Like what are for you key areas when
Yeah.
you evaluate, okay, it's a true use case?
Yeah, as we know, right, the AI is going to be in the biggest narratives in the next decade. So that's why everybody is trying to be like be the protocol which is empowered by AI, and for some reason, right? So, but we do have like a very specific question. If you're trying to start something cool, and you should really ask yourself, does your network or protocol really break without blockchain or AI? And also, like, are agents doing things humans or scripts cannot do it? And also for like, is it decentralization itself like coordination problem or just checking the box? So those are actually basic questions. Does your actually AI agents can really solve the bottleneck or solve the pain point in the market, or just like you know be the protocol that is empowered? Yeah, protocol. That's important, right? And so yeah, but most importantly, does your products build towards industry where like AI agents can actually autonomously, like verifiably and also cooperatively? So that's really important, and also from different across chain, across platform, and across community. Because right now I feel like all different AI agents, they are kind of like separate. They don't really because there's no proper infrastructure can help them to governance the user data. And if you ask yourself that basically this type of question, if the answer is yes, yeah, that's the where we're laying right now. I mean, you're building something cool related to AI. That's awesome. And but if the answer is no, maybe you need to start think over again, right? And maybe it's not proper. Maybe your product fit is not it's not really feasible. So yeah.
It's a valid point. I think it's also the same when it comes to if Web3 projects need to have a token or not. They just add a token just to have it there.
Yeah.
Is it right? It's the same. Is it really it really impacts the project and the use case? So definitely agree with you. And also in terms of current insights for Ceras, like what type of startups are you seeing in your pipeline that tapping into Web3 and AI?
Uh, in our deal flow, we're seeing like some promising sectors. Firstly, for example, the agents native DeFi. So that's something that we're really bullish about it, because the those agents can help you running your yield strategies and managing your collateral, voting those, also mining, farming, stuff like that. Imagine when you wake up in the morning, you don't have to, do the research. You don't have to go through all the details, all number stuff. You just ask your, agents, hey, where has the, safest and also highest yield to return, which protocol is feasible for me to stake my assets. Then your agent tell you, hey, you should go to Avi, you should go to, on the protocol. That's something cool, right? And also for RWA, right? We now like when you try to subscribe RWA, products, even in the web space, you still need to go through the actually all the kinds of KYC process, right? But now all the RWA protocol, information they don't really share. So that's why if imagine when there's something really cool AI agents can solve this problem that other user one user can you can try to stake your asset to many actually in the RWA protocol at the same time. That's something really cool. But now in the market we don't really have that one. So I would say the first one is definitely agents, native DeFi RWA we're really looking at. And secondly, I would say the agents copilot for communities, because now imagine like in the morning you don't have to do anything. If there's actually agent that it can help you to read your content and summarize and vote, even propose improvements autonomously. That's something really cool, right? You don't have to do it, and your AI agents can help you to do all this stuff on chain. And additionally, I would say that definitely it's going to be more AI agent infrastructure, like universal agents identity layer, because this is going to be a really key actually sector. You can think as like ENS for agents, right? But more comprehensive, more like more richer and powerful, supporting user behavior like history, for example, permissions, and also cross-platform, cross communities, and the problem of interoperability. That's the problem right now in the markets. And so one of actually most exciting product also we're trying to build right now in the markets, like we partner with actually our portfolio products we start together, is that we're building actually the gateway to help the traditional app service into AI accessible functions that agents can securely access, pay for, and also operate on behalf of user. And to enable personal super agents for everyone, where is AI powered assistants that understand you and remember your preference and take action across digital service on your behalf. And this is something we're really excited right now, and also we're fully dive into this actually part. And soon you guys maybe will see the product. It's called Nua AI, and yeah, that's the few actually detail sector that we're really diving into it.
No, super exciting. I think it's also great what you mentioned, building gateways for communities. I think that gives also the Web3 industry a new channel to bring on also non-crypto natives into the space. Because as everyone uses, for instance, ChatGPT, having a solution, what you mentioned, that can be hands-on and make literally your everyday life easier in organizing it, structuring it. I mean, that's like the ideal solution everyone wants to use, right? So I think really being there also very consumer oriented is the key as well for adoption overall in the space. No, super. And how do you say for going back for founders, what advice would you give in general for projects and founders for them? Are there specific metrics or readiness signal you look for, especially when you screen the project?
Yeah, because now if you're gonna build up something like AI agents protocol in the Web2 space, of course, like agents who control interaction rates, like right, it's definitely because all the data is on chain, right? So that's number one. Number two is like cross-domain behavior retention, right? So to enable autonomous agents to collaborate cross chains, and we must implement cross-domain behavior retention, ensuring consistent identity, context, and trust where they go. So that's also very important. And also like agents life cycle curves, right? Like human users, but for very logical encoded entities. And of course, token economy alignment, right? So how you can actually come up with a very incentive structure via your token to compute data. Agent operators must be really sustainable, for long term. And yeah, that's actually basic three verticals that we're when it comes to the products details that all founders should be focused on those stuff.
Definitely, as you said, like for problem solution fit. I think also additional point I observed in some reports is also how high is the quality of the data, right? Especially if certain solution focus on specific sectors like healthcare or finance, right? If it comes to financial products, how exclusive is their data that let them stand out compared to other projects? So
yeah, but one more point is like like governance framework for agents, right? So you have to like define very clearly how your agents can interact and evolve, especially self-regulates in a very decentralized system, because that's quite different from traditional Web2, right? Like you mentioned, all Web3 and AI action-based agents are decentralized, but traditional like agent like ChatGPT or any other ChatGPT are centralized. It's quite different. So yeah, that's kind of things you have to really look at, which is governance frameworks for your agents.
Super valid point. Also, when you look now for the future, as you mentioned, you tapped into a few sectors within Web3, and where do you see the highest adoption potential right now when it comes to the combination of Web3 and AI?
But for the long term, definitely we're living in a very identical world. Definitely AI is going to be everywhere, and AI is going to replace all the things that repeated things that we're doing. But for right now in the markets, especially in Web3, I would say the highest adoption definitely should be finance sector, right? Autonomous, DeFi agents will, definitely outperform, 95% of, human traders, right? I mean, everybody have experienced like pump fund in the markets, like more than 90, according to the data, like more than 95% of users are actually losing their asset, when it comes to meme trading. But if you're gonna maybe utilize, AI agents, probably, it will be definitely it's going to be outperform like 95% of human traders, according to the meme pump funds trade data, right? So that's number one. Number two, definitely, finance, DeFi, and also RWA, right? RWA definitely as well. So that's number one. Number two is, I would say, gaming. So as you can see, right, gaming, GameFi was really popular back in the days, right, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But now I would say GameFi definitely is going to be coming back, because of now, like traditional gamer can have more access to digital items, because there's no like regulatory barrier right now. So, and also very like intelligent NPCs, like owning asset, building a special identity, and evolving across the different sectors. Because but back in the days, traditional gaming sectors, your identity is going to be like single identity in that certain single game, right? But now in a Web3 space, in a decentralized worlds, your identity in a gaming world, it's not like a single game. It's going to be like the universal gaming world. It's going to be more valuable. So for sure, I think gaming definitely is going to be one of the hot sector. AI can play a big role, and like another sector definitely. You just mentioned one very good point, like in healthcare system, right? So we're like agents can collect the data and units align, patients and providers and protocols and doctors, stuff like that. Uh, but I would say, stepping back, actually, the real future definitely we see is this, Web3 becomes the trust, right? So blockchain itself has the feature of, transparency. So that represents trust. So Web3 becomes the trust layer for AI, and intelligent agents becomes the new user, right? Not just wallet, but entities with logic, memory, and identity. So this is the way. This is the why, like agent infrastructure is the layer that we're like most committed to supporting, and yeah. So I'm really optimistic about actually AI, decentralized AI agency in Web3 space in the coming years. Yeah, thanks.
No, super interesting. No, great insights. Even I can agree, like right now, for instance, in the Berlin Blockchain Week, they cover different sectors, and in each sector, it doesn't matter if it comes for trading focused summits, decentralized science summits. Everyone talked really about how AI agents can empower them. So in each sectors of them, as you mentioned, it was more about it can enhance also for Web3 the solution. So definitely something that will transform also our Web3 industry. Now, thanks so much, Roman, also for your inputs. Also, when we're getting back for moving on in a bit to the Q&A sessions, I also would like to ask anyone also in the audience, you can already state your questions in the chat field. You see the button on the top right hand, the chat bubble with the question mark, there you can start adding your questions so we can go through them as well in a moment. And yeah, as we said also for today, I think the key is we see this is not only a past trend where we're heading to, like Web3 and AI is already used, it's already analyzed, invested in by institutions. So the key is really that it empowers real problem solutions. And also when it comes to token models, it can incentivize and empower users more by by controlling and owning their data. So also in terms of incentives, it's a very key point to look out for when it comes to Web3 and AI. And right now we can still say we are early. We are still testing out different projects who are coming on the market. So that's something that overall different businesses will scale on by implementing not only AI, but also Web3. So we're still evolving, and we saw earlier before the statistics, they speak by themselves that more and more, more and more projects will tapping into those two areas. And overall, we saw also from investments, infrastructure is playing the key. It's still currently the most led investment when it comes to Web3 and AI, followed by also AI agents. So this again reflects that the foundation of infrastructure and the core of using AI agents as application layer is really the key and will catch up rapidly. So with that, I would say let's check also the current Q&As. I would like to ask you to, yeah, to tap them now. I think we have now two. Okay, we have one question. Any red flags you have seen that are essential for investors? Maybe Roman, would you like to comment? Is there any red flag that comes to your mind from the latest DD?
I would say, yeah, that's a very good question, and because everyone's trying to chase the narratives, right? So everyone's trying to be AI powered protocol. So and the so far the biggest red flag is that they're trying to be AI powered protocol, but actually there's no on-chain activity, there's no on-chain interaction between agent to agents and between agents and human beings. So that's a red flag. So and that's number one. Number two is they're like a lot of product they're over agents and also over tokenization as well, because they're only thinking about the logic of how cool my tokenomic structure as well, how cool my tokenomic structure it is, and also how cool my agent it is, but they don't really actually dive into details to think from user's perspective, right? Does the user really need this agents right now? Does really market buy it? They don't know, because they don't really think from this perspective, right? For example, in decentralized AI agents right now, so a lot of people are talking about, hey, can we use my decentralized AI agent to book flight tickets? Can I use my decentralized agent to like to book the hotel and to this type of actually use cases? I think that's kind of like it's not proper, because in a traditional internet industry, all the data are, I would say, solidified in a single ecosystem. They don't really share, and so at this point, user doesn't really need this type of AI agents, because in the traditional markets, there's the way better like advanced like system that a user can use. But in the market right now, I've seen a lot of decentralized educational protocol, decentralized like booking ticket system. And so those type of actual use cases are not really, I would say, not really feasible at this moment. Definitely it's too far, and it's too early, and because again, like from user behavior, from even my I'm really like Web3 maxi, Bitcoin maxi, and blockchain maxi. But for me right now, if I'm going to use really bad user experience, with the decentralized AI agents. So probably from investor perspective, I will try, but I will not use it in my daily life. So that's something that everybody should think about it. So that's why when you try to start something cool in AI agents, you need to look at the market situation right now, especially in Web3. So now the biggest killer app in the market right now is a stable coin, right? So that's why everything should be around payment system, around finance system. And if you're going to do something, doing something healthcare, doing something traveling or consumer application stuff, I would say that's too early. Yeah, that's something that I want to give a little suggestion to all the founders here if someone who's trying to start something cool.
No, that's great. I think you also, at the same time, you answered also another question, what makes a team stand out in Web3 and AI? And you mentioned it, it's really the problem solution fit. How's the execution capability? Do they really solve an issue? And as you said, like how crucial is it? Like, is it just a nice to have
It
feature
is.
or can it really
Yeah, that's
yeah, how do you?
only one
Mm,
single perspective, because in traditional market is when it comes to agents, it's super competitive, right? So
mm,
think about all the giant company, Facebook and even X, even
mm,
like the ChatGPT, right? So they have actually huge capital, they have actually huge computing power, right? So if you're going to compete with them, it's almost impossible, right? So they're definitely our user experience or agency experience are definitely much better than yours, and the user doesn't really need simple agents towards the real life. uh, but right now you have to think about to serve the user, which is in Web3 right now, they might need very cool universal AI agents related to the other use case I just mentioned. Yeah.
mm. No, super. No, that's true. There's one thing also specifically on decentralized agents. Can decentralized AI agent maintain trust and transparency in permissionless environments? I think it comes back again in terms of auditability, right? And I guess one thing, maybe to comment on that, since we talked about it also earlier in the session, um, AI agent again, they can execute, right? They just not analyze and they act on them. So it's a powerful tool, but it can be risky. So therefore, I think it's even more important that we need on-chain proof in terms of computation. We still need humans in the loop. So we still need frameworks, right, and governance, and also regulations, especially sandboxes, right? So yeah, how is also your point in that aspect? Mm.
uh yeah, it's really a wide range of topics, so I'm gonna actually only point few actually my opinion in Web3 space.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. In Web3 space, again, Web3 stands for trust. AI
Mm.
stands for computing power, stands for you know um, smartness. So, and for example, let me actually just use one example in decentralized finance sector. And right now, while we're still relatively in the early stage, is that imagine if you have actually $1,000 you want to utilize your agents to help you manage your asset. That's cool about it, right? So you're okay with it. But imagine when you have actually $1 million, when you have a $10 million, when you have $100 million that you want to utilize this AI agent, right? This AI agent. So what you do is, Sarah, definitely you will not do it. Why? Because this AI agents will help you, will not only execute your smart contract, but also will help you to manage your asset. So there's a lot of interaction between agents, between agents and human being, between and the smart contract, right? So there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk. You might actually lose your, actually $100 million asset. So that's why you will not use it. So that's why right now there's a lot of challenges in Web3 space and also regulation as well. When you're trying to, utilize this AI agents, firstly, if this AI agents can help you manage your assets, then there's coming questions. So
Mm.
this AI agent platform are on-chain 100%, or they're just being also custodian platform as well. Imagine if you're like Web2 user, you utilize this AI agents, you don't really know what is on-chain activity. You don't know what is
Mm.
on-chain wallet, right? You just deposit money into this AI agents. This AI agents can help you to mine, the yield return. So then you don't know really what is our DeFi wallet, right? So then, so how can we just trust this agent platform? So if this agent platform is regulated, for example, if here in Dubai, UAE, regulated by under AGM, regulated by the FC, okay, then we'll say this is trusted AI agent platform can help me to manage my assets. So I'm going to deploy my assets or stake my assets to this protocol. Otherwise, I will not. Probably I will use few $1,000 to play it.
No,
That's just examples. So there's still early stage. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things we need to build.
Exactly, and I think the more and the earlier we tackle those obstacles, the more trust we create also, right, to onboard even more users to those solutions. And we have one last question. It's a general one. How do you see the future of AI IPOs in general? I mean, we see already the big players, NVIDIA. We have also others. Do you see like there will be much more IPOs be launched, or will it be more selective because it depends on the use case?
What was your question again? More
the future of
about
AI IPOs, yeah.
Future AI IPOs in the stock market.
We believe
Is that your
Kurosh T.
question?
Exactly, yeah. It was generally asked, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. I didn't fully understand your question, but maybe you're actually talking about AI agents in centralized worlds and also decentralized world, right? Yeah, centralized world, I would say there's actually way better user experience AI agents in a centralized worlds, a lot, right? Every day there's new agents coming out, and also recently because I'm studying I study French right now, so I utilize one agents. Before I was talking. When we try to learn actually language, when we try to talk to like this type of app, you feel like it's really like robot, right? When you talk to the robot for a few minutes, then you will get tired of it. Why? Because there's no motion. But this platform, oh my god, hey, the platform itself is like really close to human being from emotionally. So that's something really cool, and you spend a very less less cost. So obviously in traditional worlds, there's a lot of tons of AI agents coming out every day, and but now when we're talking about actually decentralized worlds, AI agents, we're still in a very early stage because blockchain itself, there's still a lot of challenges in the industry we need to solve. Like there's no proper insurance mechanism, there's no proper safety mechanism when it comes to the smart contract interaction, and there's no proper regulation when it comes to assets management, in on chain. So again, if you add like AI decentralized asset management platform, that's going to be double challenges for towards regulatory authorities. They just figured out like how to regulate the decentralized asset. Then you just plus there's agents. So I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure we will see the very clear framework in the near future, but still have actually great opportunity here right now in the markets. So that's going to be parallel. It's different two markets. Yeah, I would say IPO and also centralized TDE.
Because also I think parallelly, also if we think about the traditional markets, I also believe, and what you mentioned is all about having a clear business model to prove revenue. And I guess also in the traditional markets, we will see fewer but more high quality IPOs. For instance, the other players like Palantir, the ones that really use enterprise, like they integrate AI into workflows with a clear use case, especially for the enterprise and SaaS solution. I think they are also the ones who will be established for future IPOs as well. So, and as you mentioned, it's all about really about the use cases. They enable the AI solution, and they really solve a clear issue. So, I think that's something we definitely can expect also in the traditional market.
That's also about a governance structure, right? In the beginning, if you try to aim to like go to the stock market, yeah, then your structure and definitely you have to align with actual traditional structure that you need to go to IPO. And to go to
That's
IPO, crypto market also is a good place. Yeah.
Yeah, no, super exciting. There are still so many new solutions in the pipeline and developments. And also, I think we can talk about the topic really for hours, and super, super exciting as well, Roman, for sharing also your insights and thoughts on it. I also hope for all attendees in the room, thanks a lot for your questions. And with that, if you have further questions, you can connect also with Roman, also with us at the blog team. Also, if you haven't signed up yet for the Investor Circle, please do that as well. We have a Investor Circle form. And yeah, we can't wait to see you in the next webinar session. We will announce then also future guest speakers. And thanks a lot for your time, and see you next week. Thank you, Roman, as well. Thank you.
Thanks again for the invite.